Welcome back to JLW2 Gaming. As always, I'll be your host, Blue Buzz. Today we are going to switch some stuff up on our ship, make it a little bit easier to play. So stay tuned and see what happens. I said we were going to have to make a choice. And the reason I said that is because this next mission has a weapon in it. And I'm very fond of this weapon. I have used it with great effect all the way to level 65 and never had an issue with it. All you have to do is every now and then either upgrade it or go back and rerun the mission. And Smash and Grab, which for a Romulan is in Allies. Very quick, we're level 20. And this weapon, the Plasma Disruptor Hybrid Beam Array. Also, the Plasma Disruptor Dual Heavy Cannons. I am a big fan of them. If you run Disruptor Councils in your ship, like right here, or the Beam are actually less. We are using them because they're actually giving us more stats. But say we had the Plasma Infuser or a Disruptor Infuser or any other, or all these, they will actually give you more damage, the ones that actually give you the type of the weapon that you're using. They will actually give you more damage than the pure beam weapon damage. This is why everybody goes to these. Well, as you're leveling, you don't have access to these. I mean, I could go to the exchange, and with the EC that I have gotten from Christmas, from selling that one stack, I could probably go buy some of these off the exchange, some of the infusers off the exchange. But the point is to show you guys how to do it without spending a lot of EC. It will also upgrade our weapons to Mark IVs running this mission if we ran it. And we're going to run it a whole bunch of times because I'm pretty sure I'm going to switch to these weapons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this mission, 4 or 5 times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And that will switch out the weapons. Right now, I can start switching weapons because I'm running straight beam directed councils. Now, if you hear, you'll hear me say this and other people, do not mix and match. Mainly because your damage goes down. So if I'm running a plasma here, a phaser beam here, a disruptor here, you cannot use these councils. The plasma infuser council. You have to stick with the beam weapon, which actually takes you down in damage. Right now, we don't have anything that is really good. I mean, 5.6 plasma damage compared to 7.5 beam damage. This one is probably technically a little bit better. But for my points, what I am going to do is I am going to drop this beam on here, which gives me 2 Mark IIs and a Mark III. And I'm going to drop this beam onto here, which gives me 2 Mark IVs. Now, I had been saving those because I was thinking that we were going to do this. Now, what I'm saying is, for most people, and for me, stick with the same weapon type, because we are going to these hybrids. Now it says plasma on it, but it is actually a disruptor. So the disruptor beams actually increase it. Here, let's see here. Let's enter new Romulan system. We don't have one of the beams yet. But we do need to go back down to New Romulus anyhow, because if you notice, our systems have changed. Here, we have more duty officer stations. This looks fine. Emergency power to shields and emergency power to weapons. I am not going to argue with that choice. This could be changed. I could use something different. I can use something different in that high yield area, which he doesn't have other than beams. And we're not using a torp spread. So I'll probably go on the exchange. Beam to the command center. And what we're going to do is there should be a person over here to the right. If we look, bridge officer trainer. So with this bridge officer trainer, we're going to go spend some of our hard-earned EC from deleting stuff and everything else, and bridge officer training. Now, tactical space, tactical ground. Engineering space, engineering ground. So what we're going to do is, he is a tactical. He is Tovin. And what we want to do is TAC Team 1. And I'll show you what that does here in a minute. And then what we are going to do is, let's look at our others here. Science. We wanted science, space, and we are looking for a level 2 for this one. The first one we bought for Tovin. Let's actually train him. Tovin. Skills. Okay, we got to promote him. You don't have to anymore, but I always do. We are going to learn tactical team. And then we are going to put TAC team in there, and then we're going to go to our stations, and we're going to change it to TAC team. And what TAC team does is removes hostile boarding parties, removes tactical debuffs. It gives me Starship Energy weapon training and Starship projectile weapon training. So basically it's a buff to my damage, as well as it redistributes shields. So it's basically just a really nice thing to have in your first slot. Always. I'm just going to always say that. It's either this or chemocyte-laced weaponry. And usually later on you get 2 tactical officers. So it's this and then chemocyte-laced weaponry. Chemocyte works better with torp spread, or torps completely. It will work a little bit and give you more damage with beams. So now we're going to go to science, and we're going to go to rank 2, and we're going to see what we got. We got polarized hull, decent for defense. Chance for shield strength, decent for defense. Tachyon beam, offense. Mask energy signatures kind of allows you to lose some threat, basically. Jam sensors makes it so they can't see you. Tractor beam, which is what we already have. Science team, which is what we already have on one of the other tunes. Hazard emitters, we already have a lower level hazard emitter. We could go with a higher one. But I'm going to say, let's go with feedback pulse. Now, for the most part, as a low level, feedback pulse is not necessary. I could play this without using feedback pulse, and it would not be a big deal. But the thing is it's nice to have. And what it does is it reflects 5% of incoming damage back to the target. So as they're all beating on me, say I get into a mission that has 6 guys all hitting me, or 6 ships all hitting me, when they're all hitting me, I pop feedback pulse. And that starts sending some of their energy right back at them to kill them. And it does help. It's better if you're a science toon and you're set up for science, you will get more damage out of it. But for our purposes as a low level, just for survivability, we want the feedback pulse. Now, what we're going to do now is go over here to the exchange. And because we cannot build, I don't think, let's check. Duty officers, R&D. Officer training. I do not think we can build Beam Fire at Will 3 yet. We cannot. We can build Torpedo Spread 3. But we cannot build Beam Fire at Will. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of our EC. Now I'm not saying everybody will be able to do this yet. This is bank. Access exchange. And then fire at will. Now, beam fire at will, what we're looking for is 3. And it's not going to be cheap because the higher the beam fire at will, see 146,300 EC. Now, I am going to buy this. And then Tovin is going to get trained in this. Let's see here. He is going to learn Beam Fire at Will 3. And then I'm going to click that. And I'm going to go to stations. And I'm going to click this. And I'm going to bring it onto his station. Now, what do we want to replace this with? Because we don't need 2 copies right now. Well, we could use 2 copies. Let's see what else we have, though. Skills. Let's see what else he could use. Attack pattern beta 1. There's no hands down. That is another buff. So we run back over here. Whoops. Did I get... Yeah. We run back down here to that lady who was selling us bridge officer skills. And store tactical space. And we want attack pattern beta 1. And I'll show you what that does here in a second. Now we go back to Tovin. And go to skills. And we're going to learn attack pattern beta 1 because we bought it. It's in our bag. We're going to learn it. And then we're going to change that up. And then we're going to bring it to stations and we're going to change that up. So that sets up our bridge officers. That's pretty well set up. I'm not going to say I would highly recommend running this setup of emergency power to shields, emergency power to weapons. Mainly for the fact that the emergency power to weapons is a good boost for your energy damage, and the shields is a nice thing. You can also go with engineering team instead of shield if you want another heal instead of shields, but I'm perfectly fine with the shields. Now, this should help our DPS quite a bit. Let's check everything to make sure that we don't need anything else. Everything looks pretty decent. And as I said, do not mix and match. Just because you see me do it here. I have a plan. Pick a flavor. Pick plasma, pick disruptor, pick phaser, whatever. Stay with it. You can add a torpedo if you want. I don't suggest having a torpedo off the front, a torpedo off the back, or running. I do suggest, if you're going to make a torp boat, running all torpedoes. That's more. I tend to do that more on science tunes, making a torp boat, but it is a viable option to run all torpedoes in the front. I would still say omnis or turrets in the back, but in the front, all torpedoes, that's a very viable option. Okay, so let's beam up. Apparently we have to go to the beam up spot. All right. So now that we have all that, we're going to check our skills to make sure everything is on our bar. Attack pattern alpha is on our bar. Beta is on our bar. Beam fire at will 3 is on our bar. Brace for impact is on our bar. Call the Suliban freighter is not. So, with that, what we are going to do is we're going to go to 2 trays. So now, and we're going to unlock, and these we can throw off for now. We have our batteries. We have our brace for impact. We have our evasive maneuvers. And now we have our call Suliban. Our redistribute shields. Emergency power, we have it up here. We have that. We have this. This is on our bar. This we just put right here. Full impulse, we really don't need it. We have right here, which gives us full impulse. Hazard emitters is already on there. These are already up here. And then battle cloak is here. Science team is here. Shield battery, that's on our bar. That's right here. And a weapon battery. So we can relock our tray. And we do need to explain this new little thing. Because of the new ship, we get a warp shadow. Teleport to a random nearby location. Creates warp shadow of your ship for 20 seconds. Warp shadows taunt non-players from attacking you after however many seconds, depending on the warp shadow. Stealth. So basically what that does is when the singularity gets full, it creates a mirror of me. Another image of me that taunts the ships into trying to shoot at it. Not the greatest. The heal, still awesome. And I would recommend the damage, the shockwave. Once you get used to using them, they're real nice to especially have this heal that gives you a big chunk of your life back, or in low level ships, all of your life back. So these are very useful, the heal and the damage. Mirror, it's a gimmick. I mean, you can use it. Also, now that we have switched ships, let's remember to reset up our power to weapons and our power to auxiliary. Mainly because weapons are how much damage we do, and auxiliary is our heals. Now we take this back to level 1, and we are going to transwarp to smash and grab.